received any
Okay,
link
don't
yet.
worry. We will sort our recordings and all out. I'm really surprised. But there are two sets of recordings, okay? So I will have a look.
Yeah,
And
because on OneDrive, I don't have any shared folders.
okay,
I
no
just
worries.
download it especially for you, so it's empty.
Okay, okay, no worries.
Okay.
So everyone, hello. The eclipse is upon us. The eclipse is upon us. So see, tomorrow's eclipse is especially quite important because it is also the last day of it's of course the new moon, obviously, but it's also the very last day of the Pitri Paksh. Okay, Pitri Paksh, as you all are familiar with, is the whole fortnight um, of the Pitris, the ancestors, the departed souls who are unhappy. So apparently, I was listening to someone, one of the gurus, southern India gurus, and they were mentioning something like very interesting stuff about the Pitri Paksh. You see, all the our ancestors, now it doesn't matter whether it's not like maybe your parents are alive and all, it doesn't matter. But the minute it's like 3 generations, 3 to 4 generations of the ancestors will look up on you, because apparently they're given these whole fortnight only to check on you, how you're doing. Are you happy? How, obviously, right? Because there it's the lineage connection. So this becomes very important for you to, and I'm not saying like, okay, it's ridiculous to say, oh, like it's like, oh, there's guests at our home. We can't see them, but we have to be really well behaved. You can't do that, okay? But you have to understand that it's like if they are unhappy, then their unhappiness is going to have an escalating effect on you, okay? And this is very, very like 101, okay? It's so simple, but yet most people overlook it. I was at a talk yesterday at one of the astrology lodge, and there also it was the same thing, like, hey, you have to there were a lot of people talking about, like, sun Saturn issues coming up. Somebody had just a Gemini Lagna, and someone had some issues with, their wife and the children custodies, and also many, many things like that. But you see, that's like evident that if you have like a Sun Saturn opposition conjunction, oh my God, Sun Saturn opposition conjunction, then all of these will make a difference. Sun in Saturn signs, that is also, you can consider it as a kind of a Pitri dosh. Sun, and it doesn't just have to be Saturn, it can also be an aspect of Mars on it. Okay, so all of these, or Rahu, even, Rahu is also can be quite significant. And now, since we have to talk about Rahu because we are on the eclipse point. So tomorrow is also very interesting that the Mahalay is also tomorrow. And Mahalay is like the very last day of the fortnight of the Pitris. And so there's like a whole new, the next day, that is the 3rd of October, we get into the Navaratri, which is the 9 nights of Durga, which is one of the most auspicious time. I mean, I'll tackle that in the end about what to do. But remember, tomorrow is like if you haven't fed any, and so the ancestors often come in the form of animals. It can be like as small as an ant, or as small as a mosquito. And don't poke fun, because you never know. And it can be as big as like like a big cow or something, that you have to suddenly, you are going on a farm or somewhere and then you come across a cows. So do have some kind of like feed the cows, okay? Oxes, cows, any of those are going to be very, very auspicious. And especially the blackbirds, crows, squirrels, you name it, and you can feed them. But tomorrow is a very important time because you can do a simple puja, like a tarpan puja. Tarpan is where you take the a little water in your hands, you set it up, do the Ganesh little simple mantra, do the Ganesh, the Vishnu little mantra, and then you say that I'm offering this to the ancestors, and you give, put the water in. I think there's some video that I may have shared earlier. So you put little water in and then you pour it out from your hand, and that's for the devas. And then from this side is for the rishis, and then put little bit of water in here and this, and drop it on the ground, and that is for the pitris, okay? And of course, make some rice and sesame, because tomorrow is your last day, because after that there's nothing you can do until next year. So that's why I'm saying this is a very important time tomorrow. And the eclipse, I will come to the eclipse part of it, okay? So we all know about Rahu and Ketu and
Purana,
the
may I ask you something about the offering?
how what an important role they play in our lives, okay? So any association with Rahu and Sun means there is a lot of pending karma. That is also a big reason why you're born. And any association with Rahu and Surya will take you to the door of Jupiter or Brihaspati or Dakshinamurti. Now, the particular form of why are we talking about Dakshinamurti? Because Dakshinamurti is like the highest form of Lord Shiva, and he will help in gaining any knowledge, okay? Any kind of knowledge or anything, it Dakshinamurti will help you. You want to set up a business, you want to do this, you want to start some kind of like a therapy classes of your own, where you can at least get 5 students to teach. Then that knowledge you need, like promoting yourself and at least spreading the word, or at least saying that, hey, this is my course structure, can you come, and this is what I have to offer. All of that will of course comes under the purview of Dakshinamurti in a way. Why? Because all of those pursuits need some kind of knowledge or the other, okay? Is everybody understanding this, that all of that needs some knowledge, okay? What you're teaching, whether it is aparavidya or vidya, paravidya, it always needs some knowledge to go into these spheres, any kind of thing that you want to start. And that is why Dakshinamurti becomes very, very important. I'm not going to go into the myth of Rahu and Ketu, because we all know about that myth. You all have seen all of this, and I've spoken about it, about the nectar of immortality, many, many times. I'm not going to go there. Okay. So you can refer to some of the old videos and stuff like that. So essentially, it is Svarbhanu or Vasuki, whatever name you can call, is really the Rahu. A transit of Rahu aspecting will often give you a very clear message that this is about the karma that you have to do. But Rahu can also give you a big Raj Yoga, okay? It really can give you a lot of Raj Yoga. So you have to really observe the placement of Rahu and Ketu, okay? And really see, like, typically Rahu with Surya, I'm not saying it is terrible, but to overcome some of the problems, you have to really work with it, okay? Now, I can quickly go through like some of the really good placements of Rahu and Ketu, and then we come to the eclipse bit. So Rahu really does very well in the third house. Remember Lord Krishna. There is no better strategist than Lord Krishna. And Rahu is fantastic for that. Okay, fantastic. So third house Rahu, brilliant. Okay. And but remember, if you are not able to take the positive side of Rahu, then a third house Rahu can give you a person typically who will manipulate quite a lot. And you have to be very wary of that. The person is instinctively very strategizing and manipulative. And so that can create problems. Okay. And so that those are some of the things which you have to really pay attention to. Then the sixth house Rahu, which is its natural in the Naisargika, it is its own house, the house of Virgo. And now we also have the eclipse in Virgo. See, you have to understand whichever nakshatra, of course it is hugely important, but the sign and the planets that is being affected by the eclipse is going to be massive. So it could well be that Virgo, your entire Virgo, you may have some planet over there. Okay. You have to look very closely whether it is Rahu, Ketu. And then if it is, for example, Rahu, Ketu, you do have Rahu, Ketu in Virgo or Pisces, then you have to also consider the midpoints of that, because that also will get impacted in a big way, especially if you have planets which are like, right now Rahu and Ketu are in Pisces and what do you call Pisces and Virgo axis, and so the eclipse is in Virgo in Kanya Rashi, and so any Mercury as well as Jupiter will have a big say in how the eclipse goes for you. Okay, the transiting Jupiter, where is it proceeding in your chart? Like it is right now in Taurus. So where is Taurus in your chart? What is it doing? If it is in Lagna, superb. If it is in the trines, very nice. If Jupiter is in trines, why are we looking at Jupiter? Because it's the placement also of Rahu and Ketu. It's the Jupiter and Mercury are getting activated. Okay. And so you have to consider that. Okay. Next is the other planets. We will come to one by one what planets and which nakshatra and so on and so forth. So that all you have to really take on board. Okay. Now, all eclipses, okay, and this is very important because don't cherry pick, okay, don't think, don't look at it from the lens of astronomy, because then if you look at anything from the lens of astronomy, you will get many, much more information, much more insights into the bigger picture, okay? So if you see here, the Saros series, this particular Saros series is 144, okay? These are and they all of them go in the series, and there are about 70, roughly speaking, 70 eclipses that happen in a particular Saros series, okay? And this particular, all the information you can find on the eclipse man who's called Fred Espenak, okay? Espenak. He has resources of many centuries of eclipses, and that is a fantastic resource. So make it a point that if you have a very strong presence of Virgo, because remember, with Virgo it is not as innocent as a Gemini in terms of its, because there are two Lagna lords. Okay, you never know when the Rahu will kick in. As I told you, Rahu's placement in the third house and the sixth house, the Naisargika, can give you remarkable insights, it's a very good Rahu, but also the Virgo side of Rahu can be pretty diabolical. Okay, it's not as innocent and straightforward as a Gemini, because Gemini has only one lord, it is Mercury only. Here it is Rahu. Okay, with Aquarius it is different because it is a malefic, out and out a malefic, so you know what you're getting. Okay, but here with Virgo it's a bit tricky because it hides under the garb of Mercury and Rahu. Is everybody understanding this distinction? You have to be very um, aware of those nuances which you will get. Nobody will tell you about these nuances, but Kanya, absolutely, the moon in Kanya is beautiful, especially moon in Hasta is one of beautiful moons. There is no doubt about that. Okay, absolutely no doubt. But please be aware that with that moon, you also get a Rahu factor. Okay. Now, so coming back to the eclipses, okay, the family of eclipses. Here, 160 years, 480 years, and 480 years quarter, that is the Saros series is in. So if you can distribute it, so it begins like this, and then it goes on and it ends somewhere here. Okay. So these are all the very, and they repeat itself in these family of eclipses. Okay. So 640 years, quarter of Saros, that is, it becomes in the 10th house, midheaven, and then the whole process begins again. Okay. It basically starts, think of it as a Lagna, the ascendant, and it begins at a particular place and then it goes like this, like in a one spiral loop, and then it comes back into the 7th house. Okay. Everybody understanding this? Yeah. Yes? No? So each of these is Saros series. Nobody understanding it or what?
Yeah, now I think I did.
Yeah. So you will now, another very brilliant exercise, which I don't have the time for, but I think I will at some point make the time. I think I did a talk few years ago, and I will go into that straight away. This is also from his website. Okay, I have prepared like and it's there. So that particular Saros series, like this one is, as I said, is 144 Saros series. Okay, and it is the number 17 of the 70 eclipses in the series. Okay, so now if you look at all the past eclipses, which began, as you can see here, 1736, 1754, 1772, 1790. These are all the dates that you're getting. Okay, 1800s, these are all the 1800s. Then we come into the 19th century, 20th century, 1960, 1934, 52, 42. So this one, today's and tomorrow's is October 2nd, 24. Then the next one in this family is October 14th, 2042. Okay, maybe if we are lucky, we'll be alive to see that one. Okay, and then if we are really lucky, then we'll be there to see 2061 as well. Okay, that's on October 24th, 2060. Okay. Now, what is fascinating about all this is that events will, this is the mapping of the solar eclipse. The lunar eclipse will typically happen maybe for some 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after. Okay. Everybody with me? Yeah. So for our purposes, okay, for us, I have only taken out data for this. I would encourage you to, all of you, to look at it very closely. Pick any year when this particular family of eclipse happened and study the solar and the lunar eclipse and figure out what happened then? Okay. So, for example, 1934, okay, August 10th, maybe you have your parents or someone then alive, and ask, they must have been born, or ask your parents what happened to your grandparents then. It is really helps you, because you will get a lot of insight into doing a little bit of research, because eclipses is a very fascinating subject, and it is a very powerful one. It will never go waste. Okay. So it is just something for your files. It is very, very fascinating. Another thing, I'm giving you some more tips, right? Whatever year you're born, whatever month you're born, okay, not everybody is Donald Trump to be born in an eclipse, okay? So, you have to look at the eclipse before your birth and after your birth very carefully. This is my experience, which I'm giving you a little tip. This you won't find in any books, okay? And those eclipses will have a huge impact on you. Trust me, huge impact. And how will we see the impact of all of this? Two, three things, okay? The eclipse before your birth. Think about which are the planets conjoining the eclipse. So, for example, okay, tomorrow's eclipse, it has Mercury conjoining it, okay? Okay. And it has a very nice Graha Drishti from Jupiter. It has Mangal Drishti as well, Graha and Rashi Drishti. So we can say that the Mangal is impacting it, as well as Mercury is impacting it, because these are the two grahas. We already know when we have a solar eclipse, as the sun and moon are always going to be there with the nodal axis. That is a given, right? You can't have a solar or a lunar eclipse without the luminaries. So that's fine. But we have to figure out which other planets are there. Here we have Mars here and Mercury. So this is going to be a problem. Okay. Now, what is the kind of a problem? We will see further. But prima facie, I encourage all of you to do this exercise for your individual charts on the time and the day and the year I was born. What was the previous eclipse? Because that previous eclipse will determine what is your karma you will face. 100%.
Do you mean only the solar eclipse?
No, you take into account
Oh.
both. Because
Lunar and solar before birth and after birth.
yes, but
Okay.
we are talking of the before birth, okay? So it could well be a span of a year or 6 months, but there will be some, it could be 2 months, it could be 2 days even. You could be a baby born like right 2 days after the eclipse. It doesn't
Well,
matter. Yeah.
for example, if I was born in January, so I look on the previous year.
You look at the previous eclipse before your birth.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
So this is I'm just trying to make your job, because it's like a homework. Treat it as something like in some insights, because Vedic Jyotish is very refined. It's very sophisticated tool. You don't want to ignore everything. You want to work little by little. There's no hurry. Just do this exercise, because you will get a lot of insights. So in that particular lunar or solar eclipse, what preceded it? What was in front? What was at the back? Because it can be very tricky, that portion. Okay. I'm not going to lie. It is a bit, even I was a bit confused when I learned it for the first time. And I'm still have to look it up to verify that, oh yeah, it's fine, right? It's supposed to be that way. So that will have influences, okay, 100%, because it will show you what that planet is like. For example, if before the birth there is like a whole conjunction of here it's Mercury tomorrow, but there could be Venus there, And then suddenly you may find that that particular Rashi, that whole sign where the eclipse is happening, the solar eclipse is happening, will have a huge impact in your life. See where it lands in your chart. Okay, do this exercise, guys. And then the next one is see the following eclipse, that is after your birth, which was the eclipse. Okay, because that will guide you as to which direction will take you, where will it'll take you.
So now, if it's happening on your ascendant, is it more powerful?
It doesn't, it's not about powerful or not. It just means that your intelligence is going to be affected. Is that what it is for you, Sarah?
Yes, yes, because I'm a Virgo.
Yeah, but this is not, I'm talking of your birth one firstly.
Well,
I'm
but
not just talking of today, tomorrow's eclipse. I'm talking of your birth as well. Right now, I'm
Okay.
talking the birth one. Okay, find out
Okay.
what. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that is that. But yes, your ascendant, because it is the ascendant, it will be impacted.
in my intelligence. Yeah. Okay.
It will be impacted because the whole eclipse is happening in Virgo now.
Yeah.
So everybody understood that particular exercise to be done, right? Okay, now one thing about eclipses is the visibility. Is it those countries where it is going to be visible, they will be directly impacted? Okay, there's no two ways about it. But does that mean that where it cannot be seen, that it won't be impacted? No, it still will be impacted, just not to such an extent. That's it. Okay, but it will still have an impact. If you have in Hasta, the whole tomorrow's eclipse is happening in the nakshatra of Hasta. Hasta is ruled by the moon itself. And like I mentioned earlier, one of the most beautiful moons is the moon in Hasta. There is no doubt. But you still get that Rahu factor in it. You will still have that little, that sense of manipulative, because Rahu is like the maverick. He's like out of the blue, he comes and does stuff and all of that. It's very, very difficult to figure out the strategy of Rahu. Okay, uh, only very extremely seasoned strategists can figure that out. But yeah, I'm just joking. But don't, but just be aware that the eclipse tomorrow is in Hasta. It is ruled by Hasta nakshatra, is ruled itself by the moon. So very, very strong and powerful. But it is also the Surya and is also there. Now, it is in, of course, in the constellation, or it's said constellation. This is from Fred S. Espenak's. All this details is from there. Okay, it is a brilliant, brilliant site if you want to know astronomically what is really works. And I love the astronomy bit. There's a lot to be studied. There is no doubt about that. And I would encourage every single one of you to do that, because I can tell you there is no better antidote to Rahu problems than actually studying the eclipses. Okay, seriously, I am not joking. It is such a satisfying thing, I cannot even begin to tell you. Okay, so it's probably like a remedy in itself. Okay, so now the eclipse, like I said, it is like, it's the website said, it is in the constellation of Virgo, and it is takes place in the brown lunation number of 1259. So basically it's like whether certain lunations, they all, as we said, as you saw earlier, my little this particular, they all have a particular families, and even the lunation cycle where it is at will be very telling. So this is like, what did it say, what lunation cycle it is? 1259. So I have to figure out, do more research, find out what it means. Okay, even the number 17 of the 70 family is very, very vital. Now, Another thing, it is on the descending node. Yeah, we know it is in the south node of the moon, descending, yes, because it is a solar eclipse, okay? And the annular, now this is another turning point which you have to look at. The annular solar eclipse, it is annular. What does annular mean? What does annular mean? Annular is not total solar eclipse. That means when the moon comes completely in front of the sun and it covers the sun, the inside part is very, very dark, okay? And then you get a nice little ring around it, okay? So it is quite an interesting, it's called the Tamo, one sec, it'll be there on my, it's there on my website. I can put the link in, but it's there. There are some 8 to 9 different kinds of varieties of it, what color and where which direction it moves and all will have an impact, okay? Will tell you a lot about the eclipse, okay? So it is the annular one. Annular ones by and large are not very not exactly very happy and everything. But then again, it depends on, where it lies in your chart and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, the solar eclipse, the duration is quite long, 7 minutes, 25 seconds. And it is this particular eclipse is preceded 2 weeks earlier by partial lunar eclipse on 2000 September 18, 2024. This is very important. You can have only 2 scenarios. First, the solar eclipse, and then you have the lunar eclipse. And then the other way around. In our case, the lunar eclipse preceded, that is, it was 2 weeks earlier compared to the solar eclipse, which came later. Okay, now let's go into the, oh, where is it? One sec. Yes. Yes. So what do we mean by we'll come back to what it means. It is usually significant, but one thing you have to understand is sometimes you can get a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse, depending on, it can be in different months. What do we mean by different months? So that means it may not lie in the same month of Bhadrapad. For us, it is in Bhadrapad for tomorrow. That means both the eclipses are happening in the same month. So what is this? This is from Brhat Samhita, and it says that if they both solar and lunar eclipse occur in the same month, kings will suffer destruction through open rebellion of their army, and there will be terrible bloodshed. Okay, what do we mean by that? Okay, this is quite obvious, right? So basically, it is talking also on the collective level. Now, none of you are kings unless you consider yourself king of the household. But of course, I'm just being jocular, okay? I'm just being funny here. So essentially, both the eclipses are because they are occurring in the same month, they will have a problem. The kings, that means the rulers of the country will suffer. We already are expecting that in America and various places. In the UK, the less said, the better, because it is really looking pathetic, okay? I don't want to go, at some point, I want to float this for on the channel. So I don't want to really, I want to zip it up in terms of the politics of it, though we will see the country's chart and UK and how it is affected. But I would say do the same for your country and don't speak too much about it, because you see, It's not in good practice, okay? No matter how disgruntled one is, no matter how unhappy one is, I agree there are lots and lots of problems. We are at a very unique situation in this. And all of you, in spite of all your problems, I am still saying this. All of you should consider yourself to be very, very lucky. And I will tell you why. Because there has never been a time in history which has been at such a pivotal time where everything is like suddenly going to either tip to extreme side, and then suddenly things will come to a complete, like, as it says, destruction, but something new will come. So you are in a very privileged position to be living and breathing at this time. So don't get bogged down by all the problems. Trust me, it will work out okay. Okay. So really, as long as you have the honesty and the spirit of the knowledge, if you are chasing that knowledge, and if you have your ishta devta or kula devta or whoever you relate to with you, and you make a conscious effort towards that, you will be fine. Seriously. So don't think like, oh my god, the political is rubbish, this is rubbish. Yes, we already know that, but then we will witness all this. So don't, just be happy, okay? Essentially, no matter how bad it goes. So now, if Mercury, now in our, this is all from Brhat Samhita, okay? Here we can see that Mercury is in the caught up between Sun and Moon and Ketu. So if Mercury is should see the eclipse disk, honey and oil will become scarce, and princesses or princes will suffer. Honey and oil. Has anybody heard about the whole debacle of Tirupati and the laddus, and how they put pork fat and all the beef oil, pork fats, and all of that in the most sacred laddus? Has anyone heard of that story that's floating around?
Yeah. You also put a post, I think, somewhere.
Yes, in divination.
How was it? Yeah.
Yes. Now, this is, see, sometimes you get, now this is the classic example of, sometimes you will get the effects of the eclipse way before, and sometimes it is as early as 3 months before or 4 months before. This is very important, guys. Okay. So if your any of your points, okay, the sun, the moon, okay, let's categorize it in two categories. Category one, the solar category, okay, which is Lagna Lord, okay, then the sun, and then what else? Any other male planet, okay? So if any of these, Lagna Lord, sun, or the Lagna itself is in the solar section, and if it is in Virgo, it is impacting Virgo, and if any of these are before, now this is where it gets really interesting. If any of these degrees are earlier degrees, okay, okay, so let's say the eclipse is happening at 15 degrees in Hasta, okay, in Virgo, okay, and if any of these of yours is in earlier degrees, okay, earlier than 15 degrees, then you will be impacted, okay, but after the eclipse happens, after the eclipse occurs, okay, so this eclipse will have an impact, but you will feel the effects of it after. Now, as far as this Mercury is concerned, we haven't seen the Tirupati chart or whatever, but maybe they have something that points to that maybe they were impacted and maybe they have it before. That means maybe their sun, their lagna or whatever degrees would be after 15 degrees of Virgo, then they will feel the effects of it before the eclipse. 4 months before the eclipse, 3 months before the eclipse, 2 months, whatever the number of months, but it will be before the eclipse. Is everybody understanding this? Yeah, because I'm trying to
Yes.
get the timing right. So now,
So
for
s-
example, wait,
so
wait,
now-
yeah,
Oh, so for example, I got Mercury is in 6th grade, Sun is in 10th. They're together.
in
Am I-
Virgo.
And I am Virgo Lagna. No, they're in Capricorn.
No, forget Capricorn. We are dealing only with Virgo right now. What
Okay.
is the degree of your lagna?
16.
Okay, so it is after, right? So it is because the eclipse is in this 15 degrees of Virgo. So if it is 16, that means it is at a higher degree, right? So it is like eclipse will happen and then it will come, and then this is your degree. So you will feel the effects of it slightly, after the eclipse. No,
Okay.
or is it before the
No,
eclipse?
it's before, right? It's the other way
Yeah.
around.
So
Yeah.
have you now felt anything?
Yes, I have been feeling it's been challenging I would say the last month. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So, but once the eclipse is over, then some of your challenges may dissipate. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you got that, right? So Margarita, Isabel, you all have kind of figured it out. Now, this is to do with the solar one. Okay. Lagna Lord, the timing remains the same. One sec, Margarita. The timing will remain the same. Because if you have higher degrees of any of these, or the moon or the sun, whatever, of Virgo, where the eclipse is happening, then you will feel it before, okay? But let's say you have a sun or lagna lord at lower than 15 degrees, it could be like 4 degrees of Virgo or whatever degrees of Virgo, then you will find that the impact of this eclipse will be after the eclipse occurs. That is after tomorrow. Okay, simple. So that is regarding timings. Now let's come to if it is the solar family. Okay, this is the solar family. Lagna Lord, Lagna Sun, they are very strongly solar. I'm talking generally, forget about the signs. The way, if you have Lagna Lord in Virgo, if you have Lagna in Virgo, if you have Surya in Virgo, then you belong to the solar family. Okay, so that means what? That means that because in our case, for tomorrow's eclipse, our lunar eclipse has already happened, then you are going to feel the effects of all of your solar planets, which will be fairly positive. Okay, it won't be that negative, it will be fairly positive. Why? Because the lunar eclipse has happened before the solar eclipse. Everybody understanding this? Yeah. Had the lunar eclipse happened after the solar eclipse, that means 2nd of October, and then 14 days, 15 days later, let's say middle 17th or whatever of October, maybe there may be a lunar eclipse, then that is going to be a different story if you have Sun, Lagna or Lagna Lord in Virgo.
So now, could you repeat that again? What were the conditions for it to be slightly positive?
If
Please.
you have solar family, if you're Virgo falls in the solar family, which is nothing but Lagna, Lord, Lagna, and Surya. Okay.
Okay.
If all of these are in the falling in the solar family, then you then the impact of yours won't be bad. And the reason behind it is that it is because it is preceded by the lunar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse came first and then came the solar one. Okay. But now that there may be troubles for the family number 2, which is a very strongly lunar family. Okay. For the lunar family, it's a different ball game altogether. Because for the lunar family, it is Aruda Lagna, which is me. Number 2 is the moon, which is not me. I don't have moon in Virgo. Number 3, what else? What else, guys?
Venus.
have
And
Venus
how
here.
about Atmakaraka?
Oof.
Yeah, sure. Put Atmakaraka as well. Lovely.
Mm.
No. Wait. No, hang on a minute. Atmakaraka won't be under lunar, my dear. Atmakaraka is like the sun.
Mm.
Yeah, that's why
Atmakaraka
I'm
is
asking. Yeah.
Surya, girl.
Mhm.
You can't say that.
Yeah,
Atmakaraka,
I was asking. Yeah, just yeah.
yeah, Atmakaraka is, you can say Darakaraka,
Mhm.
Mhm.
but not Atmakaraka, okay? Atmakaraka is always very solar. So if you have all of these, Arud Lagna, the moon, then we have a bit of an issue, because that means it will be impacted in terms of not very nicely. There may be health issues. If it is to do with Venus, if Venus is also there, then what is the Venus, the Karaka for? What is the Venus Karaka for?
Relationship.
Relationship.
Yes. Yes. So all of that, so those things will take a little bit of a back seat, or take a, what do they call it? Setback. Okay. A little bit of a setback. Okay.
So in my case, I have the Sun and Arud Lagna in Virgo. I have a mixed results.
Yeah, but you have two Arud Lagnas, Isabel.
Yeah, but the one active right now is the one in Virgo.
Yeah, okay. Mine is also in Virgo. We can all, do ringa roses.
Yeah,
I
am
know,
in the-
but hey, you know what? It may be, but it could be. See, the thing is, it's not such a terrible thing, though. Okay, don't think like, oh my God, the roof has fallen on the head, because actually, don't wish for that, because the roof can actually fall and that can be worse. But basically, Arud Lagna can also be kind of like your perception of other people of yours, and so that can undergo a bit of change, you see. So just be mindful, and especially I think the moon is the more worrying some, because I worry about the moon, because people who have moon in Hasta will specifically
I have.
yeah, but they may be having like minor health issues they may face or something, or
Mm.
little bit, it's not to scare, but just take care. That's all I'm saying, okay? Is everybody getting this? That don't think it's all doom and gloom, guys. Okay? Everybody getting this, yeah?
Mhm. And does the rule of degree higher and lower applies also to the lunar family? If it is more than 15 or less than 15, the degree of planet.
Yes,
Because
yes.
I have everybody almost in Virgo. So, I have
No,
Venus,
but where
Moon,
is your,
Sun.
yeah, it does apply. It does apply. Okay, wait.
Mm.
So yes, it does. So where is your Virgo stuff? One sec. Where is my Where is your Virgo stuff?
What do you mean?
What degree is your Virgo? See, the eclipse is in 15 degrees approximately of Virgo, right?
Hmm.
So where is your sun and moon?
26 and 15. My moon is 15 degrees.
So your sun is in the same nakshatra?
No, it's Chitra.
Yeah, so then it's fine. Sun is not a problem. Don't worry about the
the
sun
moon,
then.
yeah, ma the moon it is.
Yeah, so the moon is what, 15?
Yeah, think.
Yeah, so just be
Yeah.
mindful of health. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Just take care, proper hydration, do
Mm.
the mantra,
Mm.
health issues and all. Remember the classic mantra. I gave the 3 mantras, right? One of them, Hom Haray Nama, remember?
The
Yeah.
Kavach.
The Haray Nama, Hom
No.
Haray
Yeah.
Nama. Remember? For health, overcoming health issues. Hom Haray Nama. Remember?
Yeah, you gave it, yes.
Yes, thank you. Margarita, don't sleep in class.
No, I forgot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't sleep in class, okay? Okay, so the Om Haray Nama is a very powerful mantra for overcoming some of the negativity of the moon in the same nakshatra. So here, if the 2 consecutive, so it's very clearly, this is from Sanjay Rath's, talk, and it's also from Brhat Samhita, he has picked up a lot of stuff from. These are all from the tradition as well as from Brhat Samhita. So, if the solar eclipse were to occur at the end of the fortnight after the lunar eclipse, then the people in general tend to become unruly, unjust, couples quarrel, divorces, and separation increases. But that is if the solar eclipse is in the same nakshatra as the sun. Here, you don't have that problem, Margarita, so don't worry, okay? And people who are already divorced don't need to worry either, okay? How bad can it be, okay? And if it is in the reverse, that is a lunar eclipse occurring after the solar eclipse, the Brahmins, priests increase their prayers and people are happy and contented. So that means that if the lunar eclipse would have been after our solar eclipse, so if the lunar eclipse is 2nd of October, so maybe 16th, 17th or something, if there would have been a lunar eclipse, then it would have been that by and large, people with sun in that particular, in Hasta, would have a good path. They will carve out a new, much more spiritual path. So basically, it is like a moksha path, okay? It will direct their lives towards that, okay? So don't worry, okay? Marguerite, I can hear your stress. So don't worry, okay? So now let's finish something. Now, this is another example. Now, this is another homework you got to do, okay, guys? On 27th May 2003, Angelina Jolie divorces Billy Bob Thornton due to some irreconcilable differences. And that was a Saros series family of 147, which is the solar eclipse happened on 31st May 2003 in Taurus in Rohini. And Angelina Jolie has sun in Rohini Nakshatra. So now, logically, her obviously it would have been, the timing is she separated on 27th May, right? Eclipse happened on 31st May. Obviously she felt the effects of it before the eclipse, a few days before the eclipse, or it would have been brewing for months altogether. I keep telling you, sometimes I go see the rule of what I said earlier, that sometimes you feel, depending on the placement of your planets, you may feel the eclipse influence before 4 months before, or whatever, 6 months before the actual eclipse. In her case, that's what happened 3 days before. Okay, and they have the same. The eclipse was in Rohini, and her sun is in Rohini. I am guessing, have a look. That is for your little research. When was the lunar eclipse? I am sure the lunar eclipse happened before 31st May. It would have been like 14th May or 15th May, okay, in 2003. Check it out. Because if it was happened before, then that means we know that, there would have been couples quarrel, divorces, separations, because it has a separative effect. Okay, everybody understand this? Easy, yeah?
Yeah, Sona, where can we see the shadow series, like the whole eclipses? That, like, is there a link?
All of this, I told
Yeah.
you, Fred Espenac. Go to Eclipse Man, Fred Espenac, or I will put it in the Telegram group. Don't worry, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and then you can just whatever the family of eclipses, you can start, like, looking at it. You, in fact, another good exercise is, remember I said talk about the eclipse before your birth and after your birth. So that also you can figure out what family of eclipses it is, and figure out whether it is going to be good or bad or whatever, depending on what. But guys, you have to study, you have to analyze. Don't just kind of, don't just take on the principles on board and forget about them. Just have a look in depth. Now, coming back to this is when it happens in the UK. Okay, this is the chart for the UK. Okay, we will come to the analysis in a bit. Another thing to be considered is where is going to be eclipsed, where it is going to be eclipsed, right? Who all will be getting affected? This holds true for countries by and large, okay? Here we can divide. It is a simple exercise. It's a little bit fiddly, but you can divide the day and the night, sunrise to sunset, number one, on the day of the eclipse, and then from sunset to sunrise, count the number of hours. Okay, both two ways. Count the number of hours, divide it into 7 equal parts. Okay, and figure out when the eclipse falls under which part, which portion. Okay, so those will be the people that will be affected. So first portion is engineers, priests, and all of that, firefighters, um, recluse people, hermits, yogis, all of that will be impacted if it falls under the first portion. Typically, first portion will be, let's say the sunrise is at 7:30 in the morning, or 7 o'clock or 6:30 in the morning, sunrise, and then the eclipse is around that time. Then you know that it is in the first portion. So engineers, priests, recluse people, hermits, all of these people will be impacted. Now, who will suffer? That is in 3 different parts, okay? So the first part is, among the 7 parts, the people denoted by when the eclipse happens, the start of the eclipse, the people will suffer. So let's say the eclipse begins in the first portion, then all of these band of people will suffer. Then comes the maximum elongation. That means that portion when everybody is kind of like, where the actual people, that particular portion, those indicating that will be destroyed. Okay. And then the last portion is when it eclipse leaves. Okay. The last portion will be people who will actually benefit from this. So it could well be these two portions. So engineers, priests, they may suffer. Some hermits, some recluse people may get destroyed. I'm just giving you an example, okay? And in the last portion may land up being in the second portion. So these people will prosper, they will benefit. So agriculturalists, farmers, traders, all of these. But that is I'm giving my hypothetical example. Okay. Now, if we take the UK chart, I have worked out here. Okay. 2nd October, sunrise 7:03, sunset 1834. The duration of the daytime is 11 hours 31 minutes approximately. You divide that by 7 portions, you get each portion will be 1 hour 38 minutes 47 seconds. Okay, so I have made those portions. Everybody with me? Everybody
Yes,
getting
ma'am.
it on?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, it's easy. Yeah, it's a bit fiddly. I found it very fiddly, the calculation, but it's okay. You convert it into seconds. I think that is a good way. And then you then divide it by 7, and then you back it up and divide by 60 and so on. And then get the minutes and then so on and so forth. Okay. So that is the way to do the calculation. So these are for our UK for the daytime till the sunset. So these are the various portions. Now we have to figure out who among these are going to have a rough time. Okay. So let's see. So here, one sec. Okay, one sec. What's going on with this? Ah, man. Okay. Okay, got it. Okay. So now if we see here, this is from time and date. You can figure this out totally. Okay. Time and date website will give you the local time. It will give you the UTC time. Somebody has to calculate for Turkey, somebody for Italy, somebody for America. You have to work it out. Okay. I have no inclination at the moment to work that out for all the countries, but whichever relevant country you need to work it out. So here, the first location to see the partial eclipse begins. So you have to, the local time in London is 1642. Where does 1642 lie? Can somebody tell me which portion? 1642.
Sixth
Over
portion.
here?
Sixth portion.
Sixth portion, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we all agree on the sixth portion, which is women and outcasts, cleaners and labor class. Whoa! So we are all going to suffer. Okay, lovely. Isn't Shabnam and Aziz happy that they're not in the UK? They're not in the UK. And Mirinda too. Yeah, Mirinda. Yeah. Okay. So you see, now you can go one step further and figure out which hora it is in, and the hora will also have an impact. Okay, what is the hora that is falling on it? I haven't done that exercise. I would encourage you to do the exercise. I don't think it is in any of the horas. I think it is in the moon hora. Probably, I don't know. I'm not sure. I will have to check it out because the eclipse is happening on Wednesday. Okay, so we can have a look at the hora. Okay, in a bit. So then we come to the other one. So the first eclipse, first location to see the full eclipse begins at 1750. So 1750 is over here, which is the 7th portion, right? Yes, guys?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So then these people will absolutely suffer. Well, which is good though. Rogues, regions of borders. Already we have an immigration issue. So this will definitely con men. Con men are people who take, con other people of their money, possessions, so on and so forth. Robbers, rogues, So basically all people who are like scammers and all of those people will suffer heavily. Okay. And now who will be destroyed? Remember, who will be destroyed? Because if you go back here, okay. Sorry, am I getting the wrong one? Oh, sorry, I got the wrong one. Okay, 130. No, I got it right. Okay, here, if you see, when it is in the middle portion or maximum, those people will be destroyed. Okay, so if you look at the local time is this 11:31. Okay, one sec. Yeah, okay. So that's fine. So here we can see that who will be destroyed? Guys, the maximum is at 1945. Okay. Now the whole this cycle has ended. Sunset has happened. Okay. So then we begin the same process. Okay. We begin the same process and it will be, I think, roughly 1 hour, 40 minutes or something like that, or 43 minutes. I have yet to look at the calculation, but it's somewhere like that. So it will be in this portion, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
So 1834, and then you add 1834 and another 1 hour, 45 minutes or so. So then it comes to it, it comes to more than 1945, right? So it will be the first portion. So engineers, priests, recluse people, hermits, people who work with fire, firefighters, all of these will be absolutely have big problems. Okay, engineers, priests, they will end up having problems. Hermits, people who work with fire.
So
Shall
now, would
we
that be
astrologers
like,
as well here?
so now where it says recluse people, hermits, would that mean like riots in jails and prisons?
No, people who are in prison are not recluse.
No, they're not recluse. They come under rogues and con men and all that. They are already suffering. Don't worry about that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, they are
Well,
already suffering. No, recluse people are people who live alone, completely secluded lives, and those kind of people. Okay, hermits are like monks, like in monasteries or ashrams and all. So these people will undergo tough time. But that is pertaining to UK, guys. I am not talking about India or America or anything. Okay, I'm talking of UK, United Kingdom,
okay.
because this I've done for the local time in Great Britain. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
please, Sarah, bear that in mind. It's an example. Do not get carried away. So it will apply to Margarita, myself. Shola is here. I don't know if Shola is here. No, maybe not. Mirinda, and so on and so forth. Okay, sorry, not Mirinda. Blah, blah. Margarita and I don't know, Vanya's not here either. Okay. So essentially, because these timings will change according to like whether you're in France or south of France or whatever region. Okay. But I'm giving you an example. Try doing this exercise, put it up. It will be worth it. Okay. I would like to know actually. So do this for yours as well. And then you have like the second portion. This is in the night time. So we go into the second portion. It is 21:35. That is the last location to see the full eclipse end. So 21:35 will definitely take you in the second portion, which is agriculturists, farmers, traders, warrior, army chief, CBI, hermetics, buyers and sellers. These people will prosper. Traders, warrior class, army, You don't want army to cross in Britain. They will send troops across. Oh my God. Okay, never mind. Let's not go there. Then we have finally, so is everybody getting this? Yeah. So if it goes
Yes.
into this, artisans, foreign officials, dignitaries, artists, creative people, illustrators, all of these will, if it goes in that, but you have to get that. But you understood the principle behind it, right? Yeah. Now you can add also the hora, figure out what is the hora that is happening in these portions, and then figure out who will be affected. For America, it is the sun hora. So people in sun represents the ruler of nations, sun represents all of those. I don't think we have to really see the hora to figure out what America is in for. Okay, we really don't. I think it's going to be murder. Okay, pretty bad. So anyway, so far understood, guys? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so now we go to another. I don't want to do an example. I want to do a little bit about the actual chart. Okay, this is in Great Britain. Okay, please put up Shabnam for Turkey, this chart. Like when it is exact, go to time and date, put in Istanbul, and you'll get a actual exact maximum elongation. And when you get the maximum elongation, just cast the chart for Istanbul or wherever the capital is for your country, and then you will get this chart on the day of the eclipse when it is exact. Okay. So here it is, like I said, it is exact. The maximum elongation is happening at 1846. This is 1845, so it is global time. Okay, so it will be 17 UK time will be 1746. Okay, so similarly you have to figure out the Turkey time in Turkey, and then get the exact when and cast the chart for that time. So Shabnam, you'll do fine. Figure out, because then we can talk about the chart, and that'll be really a fascinating thing for what Turkey is in store for. So here you have to see the sun and the moon. The moon will represent the people. I'm doing like a very basic, simple stuff. Okay. The sun represents the government, the world leader, the leader of the country, always denoted by Surya. So is the Atmakarika. Atmakarika is Jupiter. Ah, I'm laughing because there's been a lot of talks about the ruler of the country getting a lot of nice things and flats and, possessions and, yes, Margarita, have you been following that?
Oh, yes.
Yes. So you see, that is second house. Jupiter in the second house, expanding all of that. You see, Margarita? Yes. So the
Very good.
sun and the moon. So people, he's not happy. The moon is not happy. The people are not happy. And then Mercury, the traders and all the sellers and buyers and all the people who, the business side of people, are not happy with him. Right? What about the women? Is the women happy? What do you think?
Well, we have to see his Venus in his own house.
Yeah, but then she won't
Well,
give the results. So we go
exactly.
to
So
Jupiter.
we go back to Jupiter. Mm.
And that doesn't look good either, does it?
Mm.
And look at the opposition, the third house.
Mm.
Mars is opposition, Mars is fighting. Mars has a Rashi Drishti and Graha Drishti on all of this. and it's also the Lagna Lord. So do you think people like this? No. What do you think?
No,
Is this a good thing or not?
no. Mhm.
There may be some big issues cropping, some big stuff. Already a lot of people are quitting in his cabinet, right?
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to talk more, like, it gets political, big problems going on. Let's just tackle simple stuff here, okay? The Rahu has now Rahu often represents, what do you think Rahu will represent? The borders,
Mm.
foreign people?
Yeah, all the immigration.
Yes. So
Mm.
all of that. So Rahu has a Graha Drishti on the Lagna. So there is going to be some repercussions on that. There will be something about foreign and foreigners, affecting this whole thing. Doesn't look good, guys. Doesn't look good. Anyway, everybody getting this? But the less said, the better about this, okay? This is an explosive combo. Anyone wants to add anything?
The Saturn in Aquarius.
Yeah, is the ruler of the 10th house. It's
Yeah.
also represents the people and the sensible people. So that also has an aspect to it.
Yeah.
Rahu can also represent hidden things and all of that. So that is not doing too well, but
Yeah,
he will,
retrograde too.
yeah, exactly. And it's retrograde. So there is a lot of power going on there.
Yeah.
Um,
Delays. Yeah.
anyway, I think the treasury is going to land up in problem because Jupiter is also represents treasury, you see.
Why you said sonar that is not really well placed? Jupiter is not really, but Jupiter in Taurus is all right. And don't see any drishti on Jupiter.
See, the thing is, Rahu is in Jupiter's sign. That's a
Right.
problem. Do
Yeah,
you
okay.
see that?
Yeah.
That is okay. It is in Parivartana with Ketu, but that doesn't mean anything, It is in Jupiter's sign. And the 12th house, so Rahupati, which is Jupiter, is coming into the second house. This is really not a good look at all. So maybe there will be
only good things, maybe the economy, because a second lord in seventh house, kind of Srimanta. Can we say maybe
yeah,
there's
but the Venus is
yeah.
kind of paralyzed. It's not going to give any results.
I
It's the
see.
moon that will give the result. And look at the moon.
Yeah, no.
The moon is completely gone. It's eclipsed totally. So this is the treasury, second house treasury. What is money coming in? There's going to be, I don't want to say anything. This is all like very, yeah.
It's very gloomy.
Yeah, exactly. It is looking very gloomy, right? So I want you guys to do for Turkey and we can discuss, okay?
Sonar, can I ask you a question regarding the offering? I've been thinking, in general, because the offering, for example, for this Pitri Paksha. So I tried to ask you before when you were talking about offering this rice and sesame. Does it have to be rice and sesame only? Because I was thinking maybe because it comes from a Vedic time, it comes from India, and rice.
Yeah. You
Can I use, for example, if I don't have any rice, can I offer some bread?
Yes, you can. You can.
Can I adapt it to my, can I adapt
Of
me in
course, you
general?
can. Offer
Can I-
pasta if you want. You know,
All
it's
right, yeah,
not
because
big
I've
deal.
been, to be honest with you, I've been doing it because I
Yes.
didn't have always rice.
No, that's
I
fine.
thought
Don't worry.
because my ancestor, I interpret it according to my culture.
Yeah,
So
of
I
course.
offer rice, I offer fruit, I offer
Yeah. Offer
Okay.
whatever.
All right, yeah.
As long as, you know, offer to the ancestors whatever you can find, to animals, foxes, whatever, you know,
Yeah.
but just do something for tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow is the last day, so just bear that in mind, okay?
Yeah.
So now we come, I don't want to now keep lagging on. There's something interesting about, I just want to give an example about this, like this, when was this eclipse? This is the eclipse of 2021. I don't know. I can't even see it. Doesn't matter. We can skip it. This Saddam Hussein's regime falls 2 days later. This is from my earlier slides on eclipses. So here, April 9, 2003, just 3 weeks into the invasion of Iraq, US forces pulled down the Saddam Hussein, and, you know, and he's now took the rightful place alongside Hitler, Stalin, Lenin, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So basically, this is the, I think this is Saddam Hussein's chart, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is.
It's Saddam Hussein and Aries.
Yes. And so was Hitler. So, you know, Sun in Aries. We don't know the time exact. I don't know. Maybe there is a time. I'm not sure. Like I said, it is an old chart. So you can see that Venus is the Atmakaraka. So the eclipse and Mars retrograde. So all this Scorpio thing and opposite Mercury in Taurus. And so this, all of this Mars and Rahu is having Rashi Drishti on that Surya, and a debilitated Jupiter, very strong Saturn and Venus. So you see, it's a problem now, because then if you look at the eclipse that happened, I think the eclipse has a huge impact on these planets in Scorpio, okay? So just check. Now, that is another thing you have to study the eclipse. When there is a fall, often the sun is definitely involved. And if you see, I think it happened in Scorpio and in 2003, I think, yeah. So then there would have been that eclipse in either Scorpio and, but just check, okay? But this will impact a ruler of the country. If he has to fall, that moon and all will definitely be involved. The sun or the moon, something will be, because you are going against the people, you know, the people are against you, and so on and so forth. Okay. So this is just a little example. I don't have all the details. We already discussed about when she broke off with her partner and so on and so forth. This is another representation of the about who all will be affected in the relationship and so on and so forth. And let's move to the if anybody is interested, this is here Starmer's chart. Okay.
Can I see the Queen chart?
Sorry?
Can I see Queen Elizabeth chart?
Queen Elizabeth, she's not here. So, yeah, this is Keir Starmer's chart, the present ruler. Do you think it's going to impact? He's got Lagna as well as Ketu there. So this is, and don't miss the midpoints. He's got moon, very close midpoints, definitely the sun at close midpoints. What do you think, guys? Do you not think he's going to be affected by this
Oh,
eclipse?
very much.
Right? So definitely the moon. It's a tough one, huh? Very tough. Okay, anyway, so you got, now what is the solutions? Definitely sound meditation, whatever you do, the bath is important, okay? Now this is Really important. You have to have some kind of spiritual, for solar eclipses, you want to know what you would like to manifest. But one of the key things about the solar eclipses, all you have to ask for is the knowledge, genuine knowledge that you are seeking. You want that. That is the key thing you want to take away, okay? Because that is what you have to ask regarding Dakshinamurti. And 3 times a day bath, sorry, not 3 times, at least at the beginning of the eclipse, at the end of the eclipse. Those two are really important. Shower or whatever. Another thing, if you don't have, if you're, let's say, working or something, just go to the washroom, just splash your face with water, put little water on your head, and I mean, don't drench yourself and all that, but obviously, but at least do something. And then at least if you can find a few minutes, then try doing some mantra, okay? Any of these is fine. This is the easiest. Om Dakshinamurti Ratarom. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtiye Murtaye Mayam Medam Pragnyam Prayacha Swaha. So this is also a very beautiful mantra. My other favorite is Om Reem Shreem Samba Shivai Tubhyam Swaha. This is also very beautiful, okay? So any of these you can do. If you don't want to do any of that, just do the Tatre mantra, just simple the Tatre Hare Krishna. That will also help you, will be very, very powerful, the Tatre Hare Krishna. I would definitely say, that is really important. The sitting in meditation, just calming yourself down. Make sure you have an asan made out of wool or some woolen fabric, that you're sitting on. Okay. Don't sit directly on the ground or on the chair, like an empty chair, or with no asan. That is also another important thing. And what else? Any questions, guys? Anything?
Sonal, 108 times this mantra.
Sorry?
108 times.
Well, you have about depends on how long you want to do it. But as far as when it is maximum elongation, that time you have to be on, at least take those few minutes off. If you're working, at least take that a few minutes off, okay? But just sit there. I would do it for longer than an hour, 8 malas, 10 malas, depending how much ever you can do, okay? Don't set yourself up to like, oh my God, this is impossible and all that. Just do how much ever you can do. The easiest one is Om Dakshinamurti Ratarom, okay? This is really the classic. Okay? This
Sona,
is really,
could you,
yeah.
before you ending, could you please put the slide with the time of the eclipse?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And the link to see all the previous eclipses and all that, like the calendar.
Yes, I will. I will.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, guys. And this is for the lunar eclipse, the Narsimha mantra, which we always do, but that's for the lunar eclipse. So don't worry about that. Right now, focus and remember, the universe does open a window at this time. It's a very small window, but it's a very powerful window. Okay, it will open up for you, and you have to be able to be pure enough. That's why the bath and all that, because remember, the energies are very fierce. And so you want to go with humility and, hey, give me that knowledge. That's all I seek. Okay. So just remember that. Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, Sanal, can I just ask a question? You said
yes.
on tomorrow on the 2nd, where we honor the Pitris, you said do the mantra Swada. What does the swa actually
Yes,
mean?
Swadha. Okay. Now, tomorrow in the morning, early morning, if possible, otherwise not, don't worry about it. At least in the afternoon before the eclipse, just do the Swadha. Okay. Swadha is a very powerful word. Okay. Swadha and Swaha. These are the two wives. Swaha. Okay. So these are the two wives of the deity for basically giving you the pitris will help you, and Swaha is for the gods. Okay. She is like every time you have like a fire ceremony, you do Swaha. So you're giving some things to the gods. Swadha is for the pitris. Okay. So Swadha, Swadha, Swadha will help you regarding any offering that you give to the pitris. Just say Swadha. That is the significance. And typically Swadha is always done regarding the ancestrals and and all of that, especially if you have difficult Saturn problems and stuff like that. The pitris will be helpful, and that is why we use the word Swadha, and typically we do it in the afternoon or early evening. Okay, so do offer, yeah, so do offer those things, because tomorrow it's called the Mahalay. Okay, Mahalay means like this last big day before the pitris leave us, because they are here now, they are watching us, and then they will have to return back to their loka. So after tomorrow, and then the Navratri begins, which is a fantastic time on 3rd of October, because 3rd of October onwards for 10 days, the any kind of Devi form, any kind of Shakti, if you do some mantra and do a sankalp is like, hey, I would like to manifest this, I would like to manifest that, and with humility and with purity, and say, okay, I'm going to maybe fast, I'm going to maybe eat only once a day, or maybe only twice a day, or I will give up something, I won't have any rice, I won't have anything. It can be depending on how your capacity for that amount of days, which is within your limit and capacity, is what you need to do. And even the mantra, and I would say whatever mantra you pick, it has to be, well, preferably, yeah, it has to be a Shakti or a Devi mantra. My favorite one is the Kunjika Stotram, okay, which gives you the benefits of also the Durga Saptashati part, which is like a huge compendium. Instead of reading all of that, the Kunjika Stotram is a very powerful one. I can put it there in the Telegram group. So I'll put all of that in the Telegram group. Okay.
Okay,
That is
please.
my favorite one. It's like just listening to it is very, very powerful. But I would also encourage you, whether it's a Lakshmi mantra, whether it is a Devi mantra, anything, if you find nothing, just do your Tithi Devi mantra, the Tithi that you're born in, or the moon nakshatra mantra, anything, just do something, okay? Is what I'm saying, okay? Because this is a very, very powerful time. After tomorrow onwards, very, very powerful, of course, for different things, but yes. Okay, everyone fine?
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Sona.
Thank you, Could you please share about this Tarpanam? We don't know this. Could you please
See,
share
the
the link?
simplest Tarpanam, it's a process. Just Google it, you will find it. But basically, the Tarpanam is nothing but the word Tarpanam. Anam is like it's an offering, okay? And basically, a little bit of the copper with a little spoon, you can just give little water in the hand. And this is for the devas, and you drop it on your place of worship. This one is for the rishis. So on the right hand side, you tip it over. This is for the rishis. And then finally, when you come to the last one, when you put the last one, you have to make sure that the water flows through your thumb. Don't open the thumb like that. Flows through the thumb and down on the ground. And that is from Om Pitrubhyam Namaha or something you can say, you know, to give to the Pitris. And that falls on the ground. That's the only one that falls on the ground. That is like just the three things. Or you can also just these three things with Swada, 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 and it will suffice. That is like the super shortcut, okay? I'm giving you like the super shortcut, but you can take the longer cut. You can do a little bit more elaborate because tomorrow is the only last day. That is all up to you, okay? So, okay, all the best, guys, and have a very nice, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So much, Sonaji. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you,
Bye.
Sona.
Thank you,
Bye,
Sona.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Any questions? No. Hello? Shola, I can't
No,
hear you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sona.
Yeah, you're welcome.